Morning everybody, High Mileage Rider here, and we're back for another video on the Goldwing. We are going to be replacing the cornering bulbs and converting them into LED driving lights. If this is something that interests you, come on back. So in order to do this cornering light conversion into driving lights, we're going to have to take some of the side fairings off of the bike. But don't worry, it's not too complicated. Now, before we get into that, let me show you the bulbs we're going to use. These are, let's see if, there we go, Pathfinder LEDs, number L50WC-2. And these are GL1500 high-powered cowling fog upgrade replacement lowered driving LED bulbs. I got them from CycleMax and they were $25 each. So the pair with tax cost me $59. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to remove this side trim. So we're going to pull off this little cap. It just comes off. We'll put it to the side. There is a Phillips screw right here that we have to undo. And again, remember to keep all these screws on the correct side of the bike and keep all these screws where you can find them later. And then this little piece just comes off. Now next, we are going to move my camera. Steven Spielberg has nothing on me. All right, let's angle this up. So the next thing we need to do is remove this trim piece. There are 3 screws that go in there. Mine probably may look a little different than yours only because I've put the chrome upgraded piece on. So once we take these 3 out, this side piece will come off. And then we'll undo the screws in the front cowling to remove this piece. Sorry, this piece right here that holds the cornering light. So, we need a flathead screwdriver just to pop these little caps off. There we go. And then these aftermarket ones are actually a flathead screwdriver to come off. Okay, so now that those are loose, you can just pull this off. Again, keep the screws inside the piece so that you don't lose them. Now inside, you will see that this reflector has a flange, and it's actually in between the outer fairing and the inner fairing. It's very easy to put this on the outside, but don't do that. Put it on the inside. It helps it to hold it stable. Okay? So, next, and I will need 2 hands for this. There is this lower cowling. There's a screw here. And there is a screw here. And then there's just little tabs. So once I take those screws out, we'll pull this off, and then we'll have access to the screw that holds the cornering light. Okay? So I'll be right back. I need 2 hands for this. Okay, so now that we have all the screws out, the plan is that this should all come off. This will come off, this will come off, and this will come down. Now, in earlier models of this bike, 1988 to 98, 99, sorry, 88, 89, I believe this piece is separate from this. On the 90 and up or 88 and up, this model has this all as one piece. So let's see if we can get it apart. This is my first time doing it, so let's see what happens. So there's a tab here that you have to depress that comes apart. There we go. Well, easier said than done. So there's your cowling off. And this middle piece we'll get from the other side. There's a tab here that goes into a rubber grommet here, but this allows this to come loose. There we go. And now you have access to your cornering light. So let's disconnect here so that we don't drop this, and then we can work on it separately. All right, so again, let's do the Spielberg thing and move our camera over here so that you can see this side. And you will need to move your tire from side to side to get a little more access. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing there. All right, so little tab there. There's your middle cowling. And this comes off just like that. And again, we will undo the fuse, and there is your second one. Okay, so once we have the side piece off with the cornering light, we're going to clean all this up before we put it back on again. But just so you can see, this is the rubber boot that covers it. You pull it back, and the rubber boot is actually attached to these wires, so it does not pull back separately. There's the light. So you just twist and pull it out. And there is the Honda bulb. Now remember, when you grab your new LED bulb, put some gloves on, because the oil on your hands theoretically can cause the bulb to burn out. So let me just go put some gloves on. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. You don't need to watch me do that. And then we'll put the new bulb in. Okay, so now that we've cleaned up this little rubber boot a bit, what we're going to do is we're going to take this bulb out, and what you have to do is you have to push it in, and then twist it to the left. Now always remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and that comes out, and you can see it has a specific end, which matches up with the end on the new Pathfinder LED. So the bulb will only go in one way. So you press it, click it in, just like that. Then it goes back in here. Oh, so the tabs are different sizes. Oops, tabs are different sizes here. Big tab, little tab, big tab, little tab. And there we go. The light is now in. So once the light is put back in, you just push the rubber boot back over top of the housing to protect it. Connect your connection here for the lights. Now, I tested each of these already off camera to make sure that they worked. And one of the things I've done in this is I've made this a conversion to having my cornering lights actually become driving lights. So my driving lights will be on whenever there is power to the bike. So not accessory mode, but full power mode. These are the two relays that run the left and right cornering lights. And all you do is pull the green wire out of each of these, either use electrical tape or a grommet or whatever you want to do, and it will give power to these all the time. And that way, if you ever decide to sell your bike later and someone wants to make them cornering lights again, they can. So let's turn power onto the bike. Sorry, I forgot that I had that on. Turned power onto the bike, and now you can see what the lights look like. Okay, let's turn that power off. So now that we have the new bulbs in, we have made them driving lights instead of cornering lights. Last step is to put all the plastics back on. So I won't film that because I filmed taking them off, and it's just the reverse order. Just remember to be patient. These plastics are 30 years old plus, and they could be a little brittle. One trick you can use is heating them up with a hair dryer to make sure that no tabs break when you're putting it back together. So I'll be back when I have all the plastics back on. So there she is with all the plastics back on. I'll just give you a couple little tips when you're putting them back on. Put each of the side pieces on first. Put this trim on, or if you don't have the trim, just put the 3 bolts in to hold it in place. Then do the other side, and then you put this top skirt in, and then the bottom one that is held in by 3 screws. So let's show you what this looks like in the dark with it on. And there is the finished product. I think it looks great. So, I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until the next video, keep that right hand cranked and the rubber side down.